because there was a lot of points that I was seeing that we really were not making use of the Khalid and Valentina early game. And that was probably because after you get that early death, kind of put a little bit of PTSD into the roam, just like, all right, I'm not going to be invading anymore. I'm just going to try to sit back. And unfortunately, it allowed Infinity to really kind of get stacked up to where they needed. It gave Harley a lot of free roam where he wanted to be able to go anywhere he needed to. Here, we're going to go ahead and start off with the second draft. A lot of familiar bands up there.
Oh, I was just about to say, I wonder if they'll leave Harley open for them. Nope. They're like, no, we saw what we did. So for sure, we're not going to leave that open for them to pick up. And again, they're banning out that Fanny, making sure that Alpha 7 does not utilize that because they know that most likely that would be something that they cannot stop.
Yeah, now let's see what is about Alpha 7 is about to ban. Ooh, Zushin. I was thinking about Zushin for Infinity as they didn't play in the first game here, so now it is time for Infinity. Guarantee a carry. Okay, so we have a point here, Private. Guaranteeing a goal laner so soon, that can give a chance for not only Alpha 7 to readapt the draft, you know, but also to not give tankies in that composition to benefit carry.
Yeah, I want to say when it comes to carry, you kind of depending, now you're looking for backline access, some type of burst that you can do to be able to kind of bring down the carry. Tankier ones, like you said, they don't fare well against it because she's got the dash, she's got ability to escape, and that just means that the tanks have to go further back to try to get her down. Yeah, I kind of saw the Zushin ban coming up there just because when you ban out Harley, you take out one of the big counters for the Zushin pickup there as well. We still do have a lot of space open for Infinity right now. I'm wondering if we're going to try to lock down possibly a mage pickup here or kind of suffer the wrath of Alpha 7 trying to ban those out as we move into the second banning phase. Guinevere has been an interesting pick for me. It's something that at this point can go in a lot of places. Ooh, the Uranus out there. I feel like Uranus is a good point here to try to stop, I want to say a Fredrin pickup from the side of Alpha 7.
Yeah, Uranus is extremely tanky. They picked up that Suyu. He's really great in the jungle. I guess the Guinevere is chosen to deal with the carry to be able to kind of like hide in the bush and try to ambush her, get her out of the picture, right? So sometimes I feel that it's not that great to choose the marksman first because, like you said, all the counters that they can decide to do against it, because that is your late game carry, right? So if it gets into that late game, what are you gonna do? Oh, Sora.
Yeah, so I believe that Sora here is gonna handle Uranus in the XP lane. But something interesting that I had in my mind is about the ZZ situation so far, because we saw ZZ play with Harley, so he's not allowed to use that again in this best of 3. So I was thinking another hero here that could be very good for him to guarantee an interesting early game for Infinity. And I was thinking about like some assassin with a very interesting burst damage. And one of these assassins that is prioritized in AMER South is just a Suyu. So he could guarantee with him, but once again they had to be careful with the respawn, for example, in the other side, because we also have Guinevere who can possibly go in a jungler or in a roaming, for example. So depending of the rest of the composition, that could be a very wombo combo situation for Alpha 7, guaranteeing execution with the jump and the Requiem Violet and another follow-up from a damage here for Alpha 7. So let's see what is going to happen. But because so far Infinity is banning Insungshin now from the 4th banning, and Valentina is not coming from the Land of Dawn in this last game here, my friend Private.
Yeah, the Valentinas, so that's not going to be a counter that they're going to be able to pick out for the Sora. Very interesting to pick out a Uranus too, because that also kind of hinders a lot of the marksman pickups they can go with. You're probably not going to want to go with something like a Claude or something. I'm sorry?
Atlas.
Atlas? Oh, Atlas.
Yeah, that's I'm not sure. I mean, maybe they're kind of honing in on the types of or the roam pickups that you have coming out from Alpha 7. I feel like you still have a good amount of roams out there without banning the Atlas. I feel like that's very interesting coming out from Alpha 7. Here, they're going to go with the Claude pickup, which I was just talking about. I don't know how well that will work into a Uranus, just because you kind of come out there and then you're going to feed Uranus the max stacks that he needs to start hurdling himself into your team. So it'll be very interesting to see how we start and set up with a lot of these engagements. We've got enough CC to really kind of get it off there.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Right now they're trying to pick up that mage, right? Like you said, they should have tried to pick it up sooner. Now that Valentina is kind of out of the picture, what will they have?
Yeah, and talking about like Claude here, not only about that situation that Private said, but also with Upatizi's performance so far. You know, like I think that he didn't show up in this match just to help Alpha 7. I believe that would be one of the reasons. No. Am I seeing right? Am I dreaming? No,
you're not seeing it right. You gotta rub those eyes.
Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube screens, ladies and gentlemen. That is a Eudora out on your screen. I would be a little questionable of it if it wasn't paired up with Fanboy's Chip. Fanboy, who has had, I want to say Chip, if it's not one of his favorite heroes, it needs to be, because he always has an absolutely stellar performance on the Chip. He's so aggressive with it. His map presence is just huge. He takes full advantage of what Chip provides when it comes to CC, map pressure, and things like that. Still waiting on the last jungle pickup, possibly? No, so we're gonna have a Roam Bedang, a jungle Guinevere, and an XP Sora, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah.
Interesting. This is gonna be fun to see for sure. The fact that they have that Eudora. Woo!
Now it's so hot in here after I saw Eudora in my screen from this composition. Infinity, I love you. Mwah. This composition is like so good, and so it's gonna be very interesting here. Eudora versus Farsa, and now we're seeing like I believe there is some kind of way to neutralize maybe the entrance that Guinevere can do, or a Sora with the tanky ultimate, for example, with the Cloud one. Or even Upatizi with the Cloud here with the ultimate. So let's see what is going to happen. But even though that kind of things can happen, I'm still excited to see what is going to happen next.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to game point for both Alpha 7 and Infinity. Winner here will get their placement in the playoffs as well. Like I said, both these teams, they've tasted the bitter taste of defeat, now looking to put their best foot forward.
Yeah, and now, surprise, we are back.
You guys can't get enough of our faces, you know?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm so...
Private snazzy jacket here. And Rico,
look at Private.
Pink that does not match us, but it's okay. I'm just kidding.
Okay, that's okay. I'm used to it. That's okay. Okay.
Let's talk about that Eudora, though. Eudora, she's able... I mean, if she gets momentum, she would be able to get, you know, just like those ganks in, right? She can hide in the bush, kind of like be very sneaky if she's strong enough. If they keep her like from farming or anything like that, from getting any type of gold, then she's not going to be much of a factor.
Yeah, and that's the point because I used to see Eldora in a dangerous grass in my ranked games, not in the pro one. But now we're seeing here, and I was like trying to figure out like this idea for bringing Eldora here because I was waiting a Fanny, for example, but she was banned. I was waiting a Link, for example, to bring Eldora to neutralize these assassins and these junglers. But now we're seeing like a Guinevere in the jungler, we're seeing Sora in the XP lane, from Eldora here. Not only about the stun to neutralize one of these heroes, but also for the burst damage that can be very interesting from the first skill and the ultimate here. So.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Maybe, not maybe. They have a plan. They are pro and they know that, But I'm so excited to see. I can't wait to see how it's gonna work in that compositions idea.
Eudora is basically the mage's mage. It's the very typical hide, stun, and use all of your abilities at once, and then get away because you have nothing left. For me, the question isn't just about can we make Eudora work out here. It is how Chip and Eudora are going to be able to synergize into a lot of these fights. We don't necessarily have to wait in bushes to utilize this Eudora. We can have Chip roaming around the map looking for anybody who's left alone, tries to get the stun, immediate teleport, you have Eudora there with the stun and blowing them up, nuclear style. So that is what is going to be the big thing for me, is that can we execute that properly? Also, Eudora, if she goes ahead, maybe gets a if they're going to lead her with a purify here, that might also help out too, because now you have the ability to bait in the Gwen to try to get the Violet Requiem, purify out, stun, and immediate explosion there as well. So we have some uses. There are some bright spots for it. I know we don't usually see Eudora a lot here, and the big thing is because there's just people who can do the same thing that she does and have an escape, a way to get away, which Eudora doesn't have stock. So you're kind of looking at like, okay, she's gonna get caught at some point, and are they gonna make it meaningful? Here, I feel like if Infinity can keep the aggression and make it their game for aggression, Eudora is really going to shine here. If we're on our back foot, I think that's where we're going to have the most trouble utilizing this pickup.
I feel that Infinity, like we said, we've seen it, they have really great communication. So the fact that they have that Chip and Eudora combo, I feel like they can make it work and utilize it correctly because of that. Just all in all, we've seen it happen. They just do well together. They know how to talk to each other and they know how to get things done.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. And even though that when we see about like a burst damage, and we're seeing a Guinevere from one side, and we're seeing Eldora, for example. Like Guinevere has the ability to stun, and with the jump and the Requiem Violet here, like guaranteeing a kill, but it is not so fast. Not faster as Eldora, for example. Okay, we still have Farsa in the Alpha 7 composition, so that can be another way of burst damage, as we were talking about mage versus mage, But everything is possible.
Just in case you guys forgot what a pause screen looks like, we're just gonna go ahead and give you a little snapshot of it right there as we return ourselves back to the desk here for these guys. Unfortunately, like we said, we do want to make sure and keep the games professional, even for both teams. So that means sometimes when somebody's having an issue, we need to make sure that is cleared out and put right, so that both of these teams, especially with the game that's really important here, like I said, both of these guys have a 1-1 record, looking for their placement in the playoffs here. A victory here could get some good, solid momentum for them leading into the next weeks. I think we've covered about the Eudora and their ability to kind of move forward with that type of pickup. The only thing that kind of I want to say, like, with some of the other pickups that we have out there, I'm wondering where do we see the success of the draft coming out from Alpha 7 here?
Do you have any opinions on that, Rico? Alpha 7's draft?
I believe that even maybe now because we like to see and we are used to see Paquito playing aggressive with certain heroes. You know, sometimes it can work very well, like with a show not so good enough because they have he has an idea how to use show, maybe trying to find someone, trying to find a specific pick out for Alpha 7's composition, for example, where also with another kind of a roaming with Khalid, for example, that they were trying to make a follow-up, especially with the damage and controlling the mid lane and the pressure. But now we have good news, Zena.
Yes, remember guys, the longer you stay in the stream, the more chance that you have to get in on those diamond drops right there. But let's get back to the game.
For real this time, I think we got it.
Wait.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Another thing to kind of factor up as we lead, first of all, let's just go ahead. Like I said, last game for the Alpha 7 taking on Infinity. Winner here set themselves up with some great amount of momentum when it comes to the playoffs next week. But for me, see, already getting a little taste of that damage coming out from Lionel on the Eudora, but I don't think it's going to be able to help them to pick up this little Wanderer.
Yeah, Lionel here was level 2, so it means that Eudora also have the stun, so Alpha 7 has to be aware about that situation. But now they're heading back, trying to play safe. It's good to see here. It's so good to see Flake using Guinevere with the Octinus skin. But oh, Fanboy! Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Fanboy came in, got himself, I think he used his little teleport to get himself up there quickly. Big thing for me, though, I was going to say, I feel like that Infinity, they're giving up a really big, important spot, which is the early game that Lionel, unless Eudora, just is not going to shine with. Frostlane is going to have a pretty decent, clear ability to kind of take out some of those minions and then use the wings by wings to get onto the side. You can say here already, Frostlane Eve going to get to the top, Paquito following them, but a great job by Fanboy, fed that information to Infinity. Rusi doing a good job of backing up.
Yeah, it's a 4v2 here in the top lane for Alpha 7, and while the two players, while Lionel and Fanboy are like pressing the mid lane here, but now they're heading on the upper side because the first turtle is here, and both teams are dancing around it.
Yeah, Lionel really putting the boots there. Frostlight is going to come in here onto the Pixel Bush for this. Are they going to be able to kind of come in there looking to get on the Flick? Flick is able to get the turtle. We do have a feathered airstrike raining down damage, but Frostlight is able to find a kill onto Zablanche. We did see a Violet Requiem come out, but not able to find the kill. Big Blazing Duet is out. Flick finds a kill onto Rusi. 2-0 right now. ZZ might be in trouble here. And with a nice fist crack coming in from, or no, that wasn't a fist crack. That was Hesu with on the Sora. That confused me there. They kind of look the same there, but yes, Hesu able to come in there to put on some a bunch of damage there. So it's now going to be 1-3 in Alpha's favor.
Yeah, and it wasn't even worse for Infinity here because because at least Lionel guaranteeing a kill against Paquito. So that could be interesting for Eudora. But we are seeing here now that maybe Infinity is not in a, they are not having an easy way, you know, with that composition, because now we're seeing and now we're seeing killing spree for Flake Private.
Yeah, the only thing is what I am seeing is Lionel executing his stuns and damage alone. What you need to do is you need to have him executing his stuns and damage followed up by the rest of Infinity coming in to finish the job. You can't just have one man trying to go in there, put out the damage while the rest of the team is kind of sitting on the back line. We need to kind of line up these ultimates, line up this damage so that we can kind of find some of those quick kills.
Yeah, but now Carry here can be surprised. Paquito is heading down. Flake also. But now the rest of the teams for Infinity is also... Oh, Eudora is taken down.
Yeah, unfortunate for the side of Infinity. That's going to be another kill for Frostlane Eve, sitting at 2-0-2. Finds a kill onto Lionel, hiding in the bush. Eudora having not the greatest game so far. One kill on there, but one death as well. 1-5 in favor of Alpha 7.
Yeah, now the next turtle is on the river in the up bottom side, and apparently it won't have a fight back because we are seeing ZZ once again being taken down. Hassel can be the next victim.
Oh. Lionel came in with a hope and a dream to try to take down even unloaded the full damage of their kit on that Eudora, but eventually got cleaned up while Frostlane Eve rained down damage with the feathered airstrike. And fortunate for Infinity, this early game is really they're having a very rough time with this early game right now.
It is a nightmare for Infinity here this early game because everything was a disaster so far. 7-1 here in the kills. ZZ so far not able to do something. He had now Hunter Strike in Suyo's hand, but I don't think that... Okay, maybe he can do something, but it's very, very hard because now Eudora doesn't have an away, doesn't have a breach here to burst someone, you know, to find an opportunity for Infinity. And now we're seeing Alpha 7 like playing together using the macro style here. Now we're seeing the items Demon Hunter for Claude so far and Corrosion side for carry. So Alpha 7 now has an unusual advantage that they are not used to have in this match so far in this best of 3. So we can see and we know what Alpha 7 can do with this kind of advantage. So Infinity here can be in a very much trouble.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what Fanboy right now is being very passive. I feel like that is kind of our key to victory for Infinity, is to be able to kind of really utilize that roam, the chip, the map presence that we have, and we just are not at that point right now. And now we do see the rotation coming down to the bottom. Ooh, Zablotch reads that perfectly all the way back to the tier 2 tower here. Unfortunately, is going to have to let that tower go without much, I want to say, reply coming out from Zablotch. Paquito looking for an angle, but I want to say Zablotch very wisely reading the map, doesn't know where anybody is, so makes the assumption that there's somebody in their bushes.
Yeah, that was one of the rules here for a gold lane. Never face check up in the bush. Oops, feather airstrike. Only to zoom Lionel here. Okay. Yeah,
perfect example of what they are looking for and why this mid lane is going to be so tipped in the favor of Alpha 7. You have a feathered airstrike that can basically zone out the Eudora while you're going ahead and pressing, I want to say, a lot of offense on there. Nice fist crack comes in there on the Fanboy. Is going to try to use, he lays down the portals. Now the rest of the team trying to come in here. We do have Upatizi with a blazing duet to get away. Hasu is right there as well. Feather airstrike down. Fanboy and ZZ get taken out immediately. That's going to be a double kill for Frostlane Eve, and just picked up the Genius Wand as well.
Yeah, for the first time that Fanboy was trying to do something to Infinity here, the response from Alpha 7 was like immediately guarantee 2 more kills for Frostlane with Farsa. The situation for Infinity could not be worse so far. 9-1. The gold lead here, Private, it's almost 6K for Alpha 7. It's going to be a nightmare for Infinity so far.
I feel like maybe... we put a lot of eggs into the Eudora basket here. Yeah. We gave up a lot for the early game. Now we're getting kind of zoned out by that feathered airstrike. As we take a look here at the items. Oh, God. Look at that gold lead.
Look at the major situation, like with the Queen's wings here and the Genius Wand. Oops.
Yeah, big feather airstrike trying to rain down damage onto Infinity. In the back line, Rusi coming in with a big, or Upatizi with a blazing duet as well. I believe I saw, was there another? No, that was just him alone there with the blazing duet there. Rusi in trouble here, gets popped up underneath his tower. Flick able to find the kill as the rest of Alpha 7 gonna go ahead, complete the tier tower, or the tier 2 tower up at the top lane. And man, 2-12 right now. If I'm Alpha 7, I could not have asked for a more dominant opening.
Yeah, you want to dominate? There it is. Alpha 7 dominating the pace, dominating the game so far. The Lord is heading in the upper side of the river. 12 kills versus only 2 from Infinity. Now we're seeing Upatizi and Hasu playing together in the bottom lane. There's so much advantage for Alpha 7, not only the goal lead, the map domination also. And now Infinity, they have to do some magic here to get back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of looking down at it too. I believe Upatizi already has the Trinity build too. So once he goes back with that Blazing Duet, he's really going to be shredding Infinity. Now they're going to go ahead, start on this Lord and the rest of Infinity. I think they've already kind of written it in stone. They know that they're not going to be able to kind of get a lot of these team fights. So they're doing the best they can to try to macro onto those side lanes.
I saw Golden Staff and Demon Hunter in the replay here in the broadcast, so you're waiting for the third item for the Twin Leader now. Oops, Flick here trying to jump. Okay, he found nothing, but now he seems easy to... Oh!
Oh, ZZ gets eaten alive by a feathered airstrike. And that's another thing too. The longer some of these fights last where you're trying to use a melee hero and get CC'd down, Frostlane Eve's gonna be right there on that Farja. They did use that feathered airstrike, so they're not gonna be able to zone out here. But speaking of zoning out, a big pop-up lands followed up by the shifting skies from Hesu to come in there. Blazing Duet onto the back line, finds itself a kill onto Zablotch.
Now here comes here, they're continuing here this time. Triple kill for Upatizi so far. Yeah, Claude is on fire, Alpha 7 is on fire. 10 minutes here, and now they are coming for the victory, Private.
Yeah, it's only 11 minutes, and Infinity found themselves on the wrong end of this game, and that's going to be Alpha 7 with a very quick Game 3 victory.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy for Alpha 7 in this third game, as the usual game that we have seen so far in this best of 3. But now they won, Xena, 2-1 for Alpha 7. Oops. Yeah. I agree,
Sorry.
Xena. I agree.
Yes. You know, I thought you could read lips. I was just trying to help you guys. But anyway,
yeah.
Flick and Frostlane Eve turning things around in the early and showing them that they can dominate too, right? And as a reply, Infinity was trying to come back there. But it seems like their oddball pick, the Eudora, was not able to make a difference, or it was not the right choice in this sense. But that mid and jungle duo, Flick and Frostlane, they had it in the ball. They did not die. They got the most kills, and they were just on point. Their whole team was dominating that field right there.
I want to say that the Eudora, I feel like what we traded to the value of the Eudora was just too much. The early game that we get, the range that you give up for the Eudora, not just that, but then when the damage was kicking off, especially in the early game, it didn't feel like the rest of the team was on board with them as well. I mean, she did chunk, and I want to say she got down to a lot of them down to like 70%. There just was no follow-up coming from Infinity with that, and eventually they were able to back up and find their rhythm in this game was Alpha 7.
Yeah, you're totally right. As we see now the stats here so far, 16 kills for Alpha 7 versus only 2 from Infinity. And we can discuss about the Infinity's idea bringing Ship and Eudora here in this composition. The idea could be very interesting, but execution, like one thing is a theory, another thing is a real life, as we say, the practical one, and we didn't see something like that because we didn't see Lionel was like proactive in an early game, but we didn't see the same from a Fanboy. Because if the idea was like Fanboy trying to find a breach, or trying to find a chance to bring Eudora together to burst the damage and take down one of the enemies or two, for example, they didn't do that. Even in the early game, they didn't do that. Maybe because they didn't find the chance, they didn't find the breach, but it wasn't good enough for bringing Infinity to play even as the same page from Alpha 7. So there was a stomp from Alpha 7 in this third game.
Yeah, and I felt like we didn't really have an opportunity for any engagement on the side of Infinity. We had Uranus on the team, but that's just tankiness. We don't have any way to actually set. We don't have any good stuns to really kind of get in there, except for Fanboy, who right from the beginning just did not have the same amount of aggression that you would like to see in a chip in that early game. Meanwhile, on the other side, there was a setting potentials galore.
All right. But now it's time to highlight the player who made the biggest impact. Our MVP was Flick with 507 KDA, 21.5 total damage, and 754 golds per minute. I didn't know who would get the MVP here because both of them did an amazing job. Frost Lane Eve and Flick both did wonderfully there, and so it was like a even matchup. They were 75% both of them, and like team participation. So it was tossed in the air there for sure.
Yeah, you're right. Hashtag Team Frost here, man, because he played very well using the far side, especially in the Fed airstrike. So, okay, Flick also played very well with Guinevere so far. So the whole team from Alpha 7 was very good in this third game. Even Upatizi, that wasn't like that he was like hiding the first two games. In this game here, his performance was very interesting so far with the Claude also. So guaranteed a victory for Alpha 7. So we're seeing more like than Flick. With Flick, playing with Guinevere, especially with the jump and the Requiem Violet here being so effective and the most